Let's talk NFL hot seats out there. I'll count you down from number 10 all the way to number 1 in terms of the latest BetDSI odds for the first head coach to be fired during the regular season. Number 10, Ron Rivera. Don't put any money down for now. The Panthers are looking pretty good. They're 3-1 so far this year. The odds are plus 2,500, so they are very long odds. And Ron Rivera has gone to the playoffs 4 times the last 6 years, one of them being to a Super Bowl against Manning's Broncos in Super Bowl 50. The schedule is doable coming up for Carolina, too. Redskins, Eagles, Ravens, Bengals. The run game is working well for the Panthers. They're first in the league in rushing, 12th in scoring offense, 13th in scoring defense. Ron Rivera went 11-5 in 2017 with the Carolina Panthers, taking them to the playoffs. So I think he's in fine position to stay. So in terms of this number here at plus 2,500, you know, if you want to throw some cash down, sure, why not? Would be a nice little payout if Rivera is the first to be fired during the season. I just don't think it's going to happen. This would be very interesting, though. And I think there is some good value with Mike McCarthy of the Green Bay Packers. It could be time. I think McCarthy could be on his way out. The Packers stand at 2-2-1 with a tie to the Vikings and losses, bad ones by the way, to the Redskins and the Lions. And in those losses, Aaron Rodgers, not healthy of course, but visibly frustrated. And Jason La Canfora reported that tensions have started to mount in Green Bay. For one, Aaron Rodgers did not want Jordy Nelson to go. He was not a fan of that. Good buddies with Jordy. And Rodgers didn't like how former offensive assistant Alex Van Pelt got a lot of the flack for last season's offensive struggles. Rodgers didn't like that. And the offense right now is struggling, scoring just 23 points per game. There's little creativity, and guess who's calling the plays right now? Mike McCarthy. And he also brought in Joe Philbin as the offensive coordinator, and I'm just not a big fan of Joe Philbin. So we could be at a scenario here where Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy just can't coexist anymore. And sometimes that can happen. And that was my argument with the Cincinnati Bengals and Marvin Lewis. Situations just grow stale, and it's time for change. It's time for something new. And maybe McCarthy could be that first guy out. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Mizzen in Maine because they provide the clothing here at Chat Sports. You can get a shirt for yourself. Comfortable.af is the website. Products made right here in America, so go ahead and get it done. Let's take a look at the next name here, Todd Bowles, plus 2,000 odds. So, La Canfora recently noted that reports of Bowles being on the hot seat are, quote, premature. Now, the Jets appear to at least be competent this season. They just beat up on the Denver Broncos at home. So there's something there with the Jets. And also, the Jets leadership recently extended Todd Bowles too, likely cementing their commitment to this guy as the head coach. And the other thing is this. When you start a rookie quarterback, the Jets leadership understands, you would think, that there is a learning curve to that. There are some ups and downs, some peaks and valleys when you are playing a rookie quarterback out there. So I think 2019 is more of the make or break season for Todd Bowles. Sam Darnold in his sophomore campaign, another full draft for the Jets to really develop that offense more. But they looked pretty good against the Denver Broncos. And I will note that Jay Glazer did report a week ago that Bowles could be out around week 8 if the Jets just don't show good enough progress. So we'll see. I'm not throwing my money down on him. I think there's more value actually in Mike McCarthy. All right, let's talk about Adam Gase. He's here at number 7, plus 2,000 odds. This year will be his test. The last time Ryan Tannehill was healthy, the Dolphins made the playoffs, of course, in 2016. The issue was, well, Tannehill got hurt during that year, and it was the Matt Moore show against the Pittsburgh Steelers in that wild card round, you may recall, and it was never a game. But here's the deal. The offensive line for Miami is dealing with a key injury right now, Laramie Tunsil. Losing him would be the third starter going down. And now comes Khalil Mack this week against the Chicago Bears. And the reality for the Dolphins is that they have no explosiveness on the offensive side. They're 28th in passing yards, averaging less than 200 per game. They're 22nd in rushing yards, 28th in scoring offense. What happened to this whole Ryan Tannehill, Adam Gase partnership that was supposed to flourish? Adam Gase, the quarterback whisperer, if you will, and it just has not panned out. So at plus 2,000, I like that number. Now, as we stand, Miami is 3-2. They have shown some competitive flair so far this year. I don't think this is a playoff team. You saw them against Cincinnati. They were leading, and then they were like, oh, wait, we're winning. What does this mean? Cough, cough, and they lose the game. So I just have no faith in the Miami Dolphins. They have no killer instinct, and Adam Gase could be on his way out. This is stunning to me at number 6, Dan Quinn. And you look at the record, and you're like, well, yeah, I get it somewhat. Plus 1,500 odds on BetDSI. The Falcons are 1-4 so far this year. They just lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Falcons are the best one-win team in the NFL. They are the most elite team in the NFL with 1 win because the roster is so good. Now, the thing is, they have injuries. Deion Jones, and they lost one of their starting safeties as well. When that stuff kind of piles up on you, it's tough to battle back. And you saw it last week against Pittsburgh. Big Ben, Antonio Brown, they had their way with that Atlanta Falcons secondary. So now the back end is a concern. And that puts more pressure on Matt Ryan. And I'm seeing comments right now, Dan Quinn gets a pass. I agree. I think he isn't going anywhere at all. I would not put any money down on him. All right, folks, this is the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. Head to FanDuel.com/chatsports. Sign up today, and you're getting free money. Deposit $5. You're getting $20 for free to play with across the NFL and so much more. Go ahead and log on to FanDuel.com/chatsports. Sign up today. Let's go to number 5 here on the list, Hue Jackson. Plus 1,000 odds, 2-2-1 so far this year. And I will say, the Browns look like a feisty team. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Demarius Randall, Joe Schobert, 4 key players on that defense that are just flying all over the football field. Really impressed with what they're doing. The offensive line, J.C. Tretter at center, Kevin Zeitler at guard. These guys are good. And then you have Baker Mayfield, guys. He is the shot in the arm the Browns needed. And you are seeing a new energy with this squad. I'll tell you what. If Tyrod Taylor was the starter this entire year, goodbye Hue Jackson. But the Browns brought in Baker, and albeit it was because of a Tyrod injury, but Tyrod is healthy now. And they kept Baker in. And that's exactly what you want to do if you are the Browns. So I will give Hue Jackson some credit, and I don't think he will be the first head coach to be fired, if at all, this year. So I'm staying away from Hue. This is an interesting name, though. Vance Joseph, head coach of the Denver Broncos, plus 750 odds. So it was a fast start for Denver, and then they just lost their last 3. Particularly a pathetic, embarrassing performance against the Jets, which I predicted, by the way, had the Jets winning that game. John Elway is not a patient guy, guys. He expects success. We're talking about a guy who rode into the sunset with the Lombardi Trophy and then retiring. We're talking about a guy who saw Peyton Manning go into the sunset with a Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl 50. And the last few years, the Denver Broncos have just been average. And there's so much talent, particularly on the defense, but the offense, they have talent too. And yet they're 27th in scoring. And the defense is 23rd in scoring. So I just don't get it. It's an execution thing. Maybe they're not buying into Vance Joseph. He's there at number 4. Let's go to number 3, Bill O'Brien. I don't know about this one, guys. I think the Texans are about to go on a nice little run here. Deshaun Watson went down last year, and that was the big reason why Houston struggled, because Tom Savage just is not good at football. Now Watson is healthy. Bill O'Brien may finally have a full season with good quarterback play. And when he had bad quarterback play, the Texans went like 9-7, 8-8 here and there. I like Bill O'Brien. He's a no-nonsense head coach. He's a good mind, and he deserves to continue to be the head coach of the Houston Texans. So I don't think he's going anywhere. All right, guys, here's where you should go, folks. Chatsports.com/bet. Use my promo code CAM120 because I have an NFL Pick'em game going on right now, and if you finish in first place, I'm giving you $25. I am so sick of all you guys out there being like, Cam, you're insane. You have the Buffalo Bills over the Tennessee Titans? Well, yeah, I do. And guess what? I was right. So try to beat me, guys. Go ahead and DM me on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. Hit me up in the comments section. However you want to get at me, I will send you the directions to sign up on this NFL Pick'em game. Free to enter, and I'm giving you $25 out of my freaking back pocket if you finish in first place. It's a beautiful thing. Mr. Rogers99 on Twitter. Let's go. Get at me. Let's go to number 2 on the list. We've got DIRK, who should have been fired last year, by the way. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going nowhere. They have talent. I'll give them that. Gerald McCoy, Levante David, Justin Evans at safety. But they need to figure out Jameis Winston before they even remotely think about the postseason. So here's the deal. You guys remember those reports that DIRK and Jameis aren't getting along? I think the Bucs would prefer to have Jameis on the team rather than DIRK. He's an interesting guy that could be the first name gone during the regular season, plus 500 odds. And then finally, Jason Garrett. He is the favorite to be the first head coach fired during the regular season, plus 350 odds. So, without any further explanation, I'm going to let you guys vote. Should the Dallas Cowboys fire Jason Garrett? F for fire, K for keep. I'll tell you this much. I think Jerry's patience with Jason Garrett has run out. But Dallas is still in the hunt in the NFC East, so keep that in mind. All right, so let's summarize these BetDSI odds here. We got the promo code and the link at the bottom of your screen as well, so you guys can bet on these odds. Jason Garrett is there. He's the favorite. Then there's DIRK, Bill O'Brien, Vance Joseph, Hue Jackson of the Cleveland Browns, Dan Quinn for the Falcons, Adam Gase of the Dolphins, Todd Bowles, Mike McCarthy, good value there with that number. I like it. And then Ron Rivera, plus 2,500 odds there.